Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. I'm going to be talking about China and Russia's gas deal, which, as well as the deals with the Russians, there was a lot of deals with a lot of countries, especially Argentina, who signed on to the BRI and as well as signed on to a lot of other deals. And a lot of other countries have come on board and signed some great deals with China. And these countries will benefit, China will benefit, and everyone's happy end of the day. I just want to show you this banquet which was taking place. And I have to say the Western leaders are really missing out on this by boycotting the Olympics Games, because look at this banquet. It's one of the best banquets you could ever have. And this is what banquets are all about. And, countries coming together in the spirit of the Olympic Games. And China will not forget these countries who have stood by China during these times, while the Western countries are boycotting the Games, which has failed, by the way. I mean, if you look at how many countries who have boycotted the Games compared to how many countries there are around the world, the boycott has failed. You got America and its Five Eyes who have boycotted the Games. That's five, places like UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Then you got puppet governments like India who have boycotted the Games, Lithuania who have boycotted Games. I mean, they would not be invited anyway. And you got one or two others in Europe as well. You're talking about 10 countries, maybe 10 to 15, 10 minimum, 15 the most, I would say. But there's about 190 countries in the world, and 15 countries who have boycotted the Games. I mean, that's nothing, right? That's absolutely nothing. I mean, US has got no power around the world anymore. US thinks it can boycott the Games and all the rest of the world would follow what they do. But no, that's not where it happens. Only countries that are boycotted, the ones are proper puppet governments of the US or little poodles that do whatever the US says. But the rest of the other countries have pretty much shunned the US and said, you know what, we're not boycotting the Games, we're going to support China. And most of them have come to China. They've come to experience a great opening ceremony. They're enjoying the Games. They're building up good relationships with China. And this is a time to build good relationships with China, because with the whole world trying to boycott China, putting pressure on China, this is the time when China needs to know who the real friends are. So the people who have come to this banquet, who have, come to congratulate Xi on the Olympic Games, who have come to share the Olympic spirit, these countries will not be forgotten. And these countries, China will do everything they can to help them as well. And that's what's happened. Not only have they come to enjoy great Olympic Games, they've also gone back home with loads of deals, loads of economic deals that, they've signed with China, which will benefit their country as well. And China's happy to help. And the Western countries are missing out, absolutely missing out. I mean, if UK was here, for example, everything would have been forgotten. Everything that the UK has done over the years, like Huawei being kicked out and host of, all these Uyghur tribunals and all of these anti-China stuff that's been going on in UK, all of that would have been forgotten. And China would have started with a clean slate with the British and said, you know what? The past is the past. You guys have come to support us in the Games. You guys have come here, and we will, start with a new slate, and everything would have been okay. But there's no clever people in UK to think like that. And, they've missed out on this banquet. They missed out on a great opportunity to sign deals with China. It's a great opportunity to stand with China and say, you know what, let's work together. Yeah, we might have differences, but let's work together and let's work on our differences as well. Try and come to an arrangement or an understanding. If there are issues with Uyghurs, let's work together. You show us, you tell us your point of view, and you tell us what you're doing about it, and we're here to support you. And China would have been like, you know what, all of this stuff about Uyghurs, this lies. We'll show you the proof. We will take you wherever you want to go in Xinjiang. We'll give you unrivaled access to wherever you want to go. We'll take you to all the factories, all of these satellite images, so-called satellite images. It's all fake. It's all fake news by the Western media. And, they would have taken them around there and the British people would have been like, or the Western people would have been like, oh yeah, you're right, I can't believe we fell for all of these Western media lies and stuff. And, it would have been okay, but it's not about the games, it's not about China, it's all about geopolitics end of the day, because all of this Uyghur stuff, they know is fake. The only reason these stories are coming up because they don't want China to grow. They don't want China to become a powerful country. It's the second largest economy in the world. They don't want China to be number one. So they're going to follow as good puppets and good poodles whatever the Americans say, and to put down China at every opportunity. So you got these Western countries who are, the Five Eyes, and a few European countries who are like the poodles of America, doing everything they can to contain China, while the rest of the world is embracing China and working with China. We were talking about the BRI, we're talking about so many deals that China's got with all of these countries around the world, and China's helping on African infrastructure and infrastructure around the world. And things will change, and you will see soon enough, China will become the number one economy in terms of GDP. In terms of PPP, it's already number one. And countries who have got common sense, who have got some good foreign leaders, and who do see the big picture, who do see the future, and anyone with an ounce of brain will know that dealing with China now is the best time, because once they become number one, once they become the top number one economy, everybody will want to be their friend, everybody. But when China does become number one, that's when they will realize, you know what, you guys boycotted our Olympic Games. Well, we're not going to forget that. So we're not going to sign any trade deals with you. You go to the back of the queue. But you guys, you came to support us in the Olympic Games. You supported us when whole world was crying about all of this fake Uyghur stuff. We will support you. We will put all of our investments into your businesses. We will help you. We'll put some money into your infrastructure. We will help you grow. The countries who have turned up at this banquet, who have come to support China in the Olympic Games, they're going to get a lot of benefits over the next few years. And when China does become number one and everybody wants to be their friend, including America, China will put these countries as a priority rather than putting them at the back of the queue. I wish the foreign countries, especially the UK, would have seen this as a really good opportunity to build relationships with China. But no, they've decided to follow the devil in terms of America. And the future is not going to be great, because every single empire rises and falls. The time for American empire is at an end. It's on its way down. And the time for the Chinese empire will come up, and I'm sure the Chinese empire will last for a long time. So this video is about Russia and all of the deals that Russia had signed with China, and it is a lot of deals. They signed over 100 billion worth of deals, and the main thing was the gas, which the Europeans are worried about. So why is gas important? As you know, the European gas supply has been severely impacted, and the gas prices have risen 3, 4, 5 times in some areas. In UK alone, the price of gas has quadrupled, and the household bills has almost doubled. People in UK are paying double what they paid for gas last year. Add that to all of the inflation costs, plus they've raised the interest rates as well, which means anyone that has a mortgage or a loan will have to pay back more. And what they've also done is they've increased national insurance, which means if you're working, you just got to have to pay more tax to the government. So people are being squeezed in UK, and this is down to a lot of things. This is down to Boris's government. This is down to Brexit in some places as well, and it's also down to the coronavirus. But I blame the government, the way they have shambolically ruined Britain since Boris has came into power. He's made UK into a laughing stock, and since Brexit he promised Britain would be a global Britain and signing a lot of great deals all over the world. But all he's done is just isolated UK. He hasn't signed any great deals. He hasn't signed any deals with the USA. America are a great partners. There's no free trade deal with them. Only free trade deal they've done is with Australia, where Australia actually benefits from it, and it's going to affect the UK farmers. And there's some ridiculous deal with Japan as well, which Japan also will benefit. There's no deal with China or Russia, the great two economies in the world. All Britain has done is just piss them off, and as well as all of China and Russia allies as well. And Britain has also pissed off all the Europeans. So because of Brexit, the trade between Europe and UK has gone down, and Britain has also pissed off the Arab world as well with all of the Iraq wars. Britain's support for Israel, and pretty much Britain has isolated itself with its disastrous foreign policy. And because of Britain's foreign policies, the UK citizen has now have to pay more money out of their pockets. They got to pay more inflation, pay more interest rate rises, pay more tax, and now pay double for their gas. So why is gas important? Why is the prices going up? Because more and more countries are moving to gas as opposed to coal. Coal is a fairly dirty way of making energy, so a lot more countries are using gas instead of coal. You have the renewables as well, you have nuclear as well, but you've got to also think about the energy is required more and more every year. With EVs coming on board, these EV cars would require energy, plus every year devices are coming up which need more energy. For example, your TV 10 years ago hardly needed any energy, but now with the new TVs now, you have all these LG TVs and Samsung and Sharp. They take a lot of energy. You have all the latest gadgets, they take a lot of energy. You have your mobile phones, they take a lot of energy. So every year new products are being coming onto the market which require more and more energy. And that's the thing really. Germany has actually closed down all of its nuclear power plants, so the only thing that Germany can rely on is gas. Germany has got a lot of renewables, but you can't rely on renewables because when you have solar you require the sun all the time, and when you have wind you require the wind all the time. So there still needs to be some sort of renewables storage capacity, so you can use that energy when there's no sun or when there's no wind, for example. I think that technology is still to be matured, but at the moment that technology has not matured yet, so a lot of that energy cannot be stored. So the main energy sources where energy can be stored is either using gas or coal, or you can use nuclear. But gas seems to be the best option out of the three, because a lot of countries are not allowed nuclear facilities or nuclear power, and Germany itself has closed down all of its nuclear power stations. So gas is their best option really, as well as a lot of other countries. So why is Russia and China settling this gas pipeline in euros? For a number of reasons. USA at the moment is the world reserve currency, so they want to go away from the world reserve currency. So they have three options really. They can go to yuan, they can settle the money in yuan, they can settle the money in rubles, or they can settle the money in euros. So they can't settle in yuan or rubles because that means either one of those countries, either China or Russia, benefits from this deal more than the other. So if it's done in yuan, China benefits much more. If it's done in rubles, Russia would benefit much more. So that's something they could not agree on. So the obvious neutral money is euro, and which is not US, and that's why they settled in euro. And as long as they're not using US, they're happy. So why are China and Russia signing this deal? Well, you got to look at the West. For example, the way the West has treated Russia over the years. After the Cold War, The West promised NATO's not going to expand to Russia's borders, and what did they do? They expanded to Russia's borders. They broke all promises. They've been placing sanctions after sanctions in Russia. They've placed sanctions on Russia. For example, when Trump came into power, there was a story about Russia meddling in elections and put Trump into power, which was ridiculous. So you see, they've been treating Russia like crap over the years, absolute crap. And you see all of these Hollywood movies where the Russians are the bad guys, and just that's how Americans feel about Russians. You just see them as bad guys, and they've been vilified over the years. And there was a report which came recently that Moscow is the most nicest, most livable and the best city to live in the world. And people underestimate Russia, and people underestimate Moscow, and people underestimate what a great economy Moscow is. Moscow does not have hardly any debt, while USA is almost 30 trillion in debt. So Russia is actually in a great position in its economy where it doesn't have much debt, and there's so much growth potential that Russia has. And as you know, China is the second largest economy in the world, and they complement each other. Russia's got great weapons, they got great experience when it comes to the military, and China's a new kid on the block, but they don't have the skills in terms of Russia's military, and they can learn a lot from each other. And I think China has got advances in certain areas, and Russia's got advances in other areas, and they can complement each other. And one thing they do have in common is the USA. 10 years ago, China was not the enemy of the world. Suddenly Trump came into power, and he starts speaking on China, saying, oh, we need to start a trade war with them. They caused the Wuhan flu, Kung Pao virus, he started calling it. And he starts being really racist towards the Chinese, and he caused a real anti-Chinese behavior amongst Americans and the rest of the world. Then they start making stories about how China's going to invade Taiwan, and the way China's treating its Uyghur Muslims. And it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. 10 years ago, these stories did not exist. Taiwan was always there. That one China policy was always there since the 70s. Nobody talked about it. Why is there suddenly people talking about it now? And the Uyghur Muslims, I just don't buy that, guys. I mean, look, they're saying that China is holding 3 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. They don't care about these people. They don't care about these Uyghurs. They're letting them die, etc. Then why has China got so few deaths in China, and especially in the Xinjiang area? Why has China got so few deaths? If China wanted to commit mass genocide against the Uyghurs, they can do it easily. They just don't give them any vaccines and let them die. Correct? It just doesn't make sense why China would keep 3 million Uyghurs, have genocide, and then if one Chinese actually gets coronavirus, they lock down the whole city. It just doesn't make sense. And why would China bring out 500 million people out of poverty if they didn't care about their people? I mean, it just doesn't make sense, guys. It just doesn't add up. It's just stories the West is making up. And just don't buy into it. Just don't believe it. You got to ask these questions. It just doesn't make sense. It's all about politics and the economy. And the only reason China has been targeted is because China is the second largest economy and due to be taking over America's economy and become number one. So they're doing everything they can to stop China rising. So whatever they can do, they're making up lies, making up stories, to stop China's growth, they'll do it. And if they can use these stories to get their allies against China as well, they'll do it. And America, come on. I mean, a couple of days ago there was a press conference, and a reporter asked the guy saying, oh, Russia's gonna start invading Ukraine, and one of the reporters said, where's the evidence? He goes, I'm telling you, and that's the evidence. I mean, that's the kind of intelligence that you're dealing with America. Who's going to actually believe in Americans' words, especially what happened to Iraq with the weapons of mass destruction? You just can't believe a word that comes out of their mouth. You just can't believe a word of their intelligence. So this deal is a great deal for Russia and great deal for China, and these two countries will develop further with their new partnership. Russia's going to be creating a lot more food and energy to China, which it needs, and China will return the favor, giving it more technology and giving it money. So Russia and China is a great two countries which complement each other. They share a great border with each other, and you will see over the next 10 to 20 years how these two countries develop further militarily, economically, and the West is just going to sit there and watch. The gas prices is going to carry on rising because the rise of EV cars, for example, more and more requirement will be needed for power, and a lot of countries will turn to gas for that power. And as you know, most of the gas is now going to China, which means there will be less gas going to Europe. So there will be gas prices will go up even higher. Oil prices will also go up as well. So it's bad news for the European and the West's economy, but good news for China and Russia, I guess. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.